Hi, welcome back to Terry White and Design Your Life, the show that hopes to inspire you to customize and design your life the way you live. Today we're going to do something kind of funky. Every party, every event that you have, including bigger events such as weddings, there usually is a cake. So we're going to make a little cake stand today. It's hard to rent anything but a silver cake stand, and during the fall, you know, I see copper and pottery and things like that much more than I see silver. So I'm going to kind of build a cake stand. I'm starting with 3 copper vases just to elevate it a bit. And this is a simple glass little coffee table end tabletop that I got at Pier 1 back when they had stores. I don't know of a new source for them yet, but I will. And all I've done to prep this glass is I have put some little vinyl painting lifters. These are the things you put on the back of your paintings to keep them, in theory, from getting crooked quite as quickly. And I put 6, about every 12 inches around the perimeter. And the only reason I do that, or did it this time, was to lift it just about a 32nd of an inch so that I could use some stems. You'll see why in just a second. What I'm going to do, I've been walking in the yard and I just picked up debris. This is the season for say goodbye to flowers, hello leaves and acorns, and lots of debris.
Your favorite?
Yeah, it's maybe not my favorite time of year for that. The only thing I like about it is that it gets a little cooler. Now, again, I'm sort of thinking in terms of a vegetative style. I'm putting things together of alike. These are dogwood leaves, oak leaves, maple leaves, and just making a few little spots with the bigger ones. I tend to start with the bigger ones first. And I'm not spending an enormous amount of time, but I am trying to make each one sort of look like a little bit of a flower. And I've got tons of leaves. And as I am placing these, I am also covering up the emptiness of the containers that I have to elevate. So we'll put a little few here. Now, I want to make it like a flower arrangement. So I'm going to add some stems. And this is the loropetalum. And I just selected some flattish stems so they would work underneath my glass.
So you've got one flat glass down, and then you're layering it with the leaves, and then you're going to put another glass on top?
I'm going to put a piece of glass on top of it.
Let's see.
And make a perfectly suitable pedestal for a cake. Now, you can do this also as a coffee table just for the season. It's better to use dried leaves. You might get a little bit of moisture or even mold buildup if you try to use fresh green leaves and don't leave an air space. Now, I want one strong focal point, so I have a rose. I'm going to abuse this rose, and I'm going to cut into the rose pretty severely, but I'm also going to cut very flat while holding the top of the rose very tightly. And I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to sort of flay back the petals. so that it ends up being kind of like a rose. I'm ready now to put my top on. This one doesn't have the little vinyl stoppers, but you'll notice it's the same size, identical glass. But there we have a wonderful tabletop with usual debris. And then we have a cake to put on it. This cake is from my good friend Leland at Dessert Designs. She makes the best cakes in the world.
What kind of cake is this?
This one is called a Hallelujah cake. My favorite, though, is the Firefly cake. It's very similar. It's caramel also, but they don't keep those in the cooler because they're a layered cake. They explained to me, not being a baker, I really don't have a clue as to what they're talking about. Now I'm going to take another rose and I'm going to put it right in the center, but I'm going to do the same thing to it. I'm going to cut out the part that holds it together.
Oh, pretty. Wow.
And keep it very simple. But you see, it would be the showstopper in the middle of a buffet table. You can take a little bit more of the leaf and debris. Here's some hydrangeas. But repeat back what you have used underneath the glass. What I'm doing now is I'm covering up the gold cardboard thing that most cakes come on for stability and transportation.
It's very 3D.
And then I'm going to put just a touch of this up there to finish it off. But we have a wonderful, wonderful cake display. Now, I'm not finished, and you'll notice I didn't put it in the center. Everybody wants to put everything in the center. But I have these wonderful cake serving pieces from a very talented local artist, Ben Caldwell. He makes them out of copper and also out of silver. But I'm going to put my two copper utensils there. And then I also have a stack of plates for the cake service. It perfectly holds 4 plates because that's about all you can have these days during our COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
But I also, I made some unique forks, and I just took regular forks and I decorated them with a bit of copper, a bit of thin copper wire, just to make them unique and different and sort of go with what I've got going on here. All else I'm going to do is take a few little dried moss ball things, and actually leaving my debris
It's kind of pretty.
is sort of working for me.
It is.
And I don't have to clean up quite as much. But I'm just sort of putting my little odds and ends around. Oh, you see a stack of catalogs here. This is the time for catalogs, time for dreaming about the upcoming Christmas holidays. Is it too early to start decorating for Christmas? I don't think so this year. Now, we gotta have flowers. We gotta have some flowers. So I have a little vase here, and it's an antique vase, piece actually from a junk store. They're not terribly expensive, but you'll notice again, I don't absolutely spend an enormous amount of time thinking about a flower arrangement. All I pre-do is I strip my stems of leaves, especially in the lower half, anything that might come in contact with the water in the vase, because that causes the water to go sour quicker, which will shorten the lifespan of your flowers. But I just am sticking pretty fast. I am sure much too fast for all of y'all out there, but we are on a limited time, and I just wanted to show you, you don't have to think about it. You can fix it as you go along. I generally, when I'm doing a flower arrangement, whatever my focal flower is, I will put most of them in first. That is not what I'm doing today. These are ranunculus, one of my favorite flowers. It's really, it's not a fall flower at all. It's more of a spring flower, but these days with air flights and things like that, it's always spring somewhere. And I can still pretty much get them. But you see, I'm just repeating the rows. And again, I shopped at a grocery store to get my supplies, or I went out in the yard and just picked up sticks, because I want to use things that you have readily access to instead of the things that maybe I use in my business from my supplier and from my wholesaler, because they won't sell to the public, as most flower wholesalers will not. So I feel like it's only fair that I use things that you can recreate. And we're going to do a really pretty simple arrangement. This is some sedum, Autumn Joy, I believe is the name of it, that came out of the yard.
So you don't always take exactly what the store gives you. You always fluff it or add to it.
Yeah, I separate things, and I would never actually buy something at the grocery store and put it in a vase on my table. Now, I'm not saying that maybe you can't. Even with my wonderful Bellmead Kroger store, I still would probably not ever take something that they presented. I buy loose flowers and then strip them and take them apart. But that, I feel like, is a very attractive, very inviting, got a little leaf issue here. You don't want
Tuck them in, they're fine.
Yeah. Anyway,
beautiful.
It's still fall. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll share. I hope you'll send us pics of things that you've tried at home. We had several pictures this week from people who had watched the show and did their own pumpkins in thickets, and really outdid me, the master. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Terry White. Just an afterthought, I don't want to wear out Pumpkin in a Thicket, but I did want you to see how it's progressed over 3 weeks' time. Now I have these seed pods from the blooms of the magnolia in there, and they make these incredible red seeds. But it's the same Pumpkin in a Thicket, it just keeps on going. Cheers.
Thanks for watching Design Your Life with Terry White. We hope you've enjoyed this fun fall cake display episode. And thanks to Dessert Designs by Leland in Nashville, Tennessee, for the lovely cake that Terry used in this episode. If you create your own cake display, we would love to see pictures. So post on social media and hashtag Design Your Life with Terry White. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again soon.